When you hear the pitter-patter of little feet, it's about to get deep. NERDSoul. Late ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people, today? We coming with another wonderful episode of movie reviews, and it's October. We might as well do some horror films. I'm gonna be going through horror films that I have never seen. There's a couple that I have that I really like and I watch every Halloween, but this month I figured, hey, let me go back. Instead of rewatching stuff I've already seen, let's pick up on some stuff that I haven't. And Netflix has just added in, of course, The Cult of Chucky. Now for all my young viewers that watch the show, I know this is a family show, try to keep everything light and everything, but this is, R-rated horror, so I'm gonna have to hit you guys with this.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Now, before we get started, I've seen, of course, Child's Play 1, 2, and 3. I haven't seen any other ones, so I'm jumping into this, and I can tell that I've missed some stuff, but hey, it is what it is. So, I like the old Andy, rustic, living on his own, can't really get a date because, he's on the outskirts of what would be acceptable as a first date. And we get to see sort of his life for a second. And when we jump to what he's worried about, he opens the safe and apparently he still has the head of Chucky, that's right, in his safe. And I like that this life has made Andy almost as crazy as Charles Lee Ray was. And I think it means a lot to just see the progression of the young, impressionable kid kind of coming up, then going through these traumatic moments, and now the man he is today. I think it's just crazy to see that. And I like the touch, even though this movie is cheesy, it's kind of cheap, but it has its own charm. And I think the charm comes in with, of course, Chucky. Chucky is the anchor of this film. And actually, we get to see Chucky on Chucky on Chucky in this movie. And when we do, it's kind of like you just want to see what he does. The movement that they do with his body is cheap. And I know he's a doll, and you don't want to go full CGI, but dang, he looks bad when he's walking. And I'm looking at this like, yo, this came out like this year, B, and it is not looking good for our man Chucky because homie is just moving in just all horrible types of ways. But we'll get off of Chucky for a second and talk about my girl, Nika. Now, as we're going through this, Nika is kind of like, I guess, recuperating from the traumatic moment she went through, dealing with Chucky, killing people around her and all this stuff, and people thought it was her. She's in this insane asylum, but they end up transferring her to Harrogate, and Harrogate is like the most cleanest insane asylum I've ever seen in my life. Like, usually when you're in movies, you see like this dirty, like place that should be super duper condemned. But Harrogate was clean, man. Like, it was nice. I was like, yo, you're still kind of in jail, but jail ain't bad. And all through like her first introduction, you find out that the people there are kind of, they don't want her around, but they're not, they're not crazy. Like, the guard isn't crazy. Carlos is kind of like a regular dude on the job. The other lady, I can't remember her name, but she's usually in films like this, the orderlies are always crazy. They're super mean. But in here, they were like normal people that were just doing their job. And I commend this movie for doing that because there were a couple of things that they could have did that were cliche, and there's still cliches in this movie. But there's a couple of things in this film that they could have done, like the characterization of the building of Harrogate, of course, the orderlies. They could have went down those roads, and they didn't, and I gotta give them props for that. Now, Dr. Foley is another question or another situation all his own because, of course, the crazy, mean, evil doctor, he feeds straight up into that, cliche. And maybe for the good of the story, because even when he's doing his crazy stuff and, this stuff, I won't really talk about it, but he's done some traumatic things to Nika. We find out that even Chucky is like, dude, I don't know whether to be excited or like, weirded out by this guy. Like, I thought I was bad. This dude is crazy. So let's go on and talk about what makes a slasher film like, you know, Child's Play or Chucky, what it is. Let's talk about the deaths. And they were pretty satisfying, man. Like, he had, of course, this is done in an insane asylum, which I like the setup, and this has been done before, where in an insane asylum, it's easier to pull off this kind of stuff because you have a reason to not believe the people that are saying what is happening, because they're supposed to be insane, they're supposed to be schizophrenic or psychotic or whatever they are. And it lends well to the story, even though it's tired, it's been done, but you end up being kind of into it for the ride because Chucky is Chucky. And then you get to see weird stuff along the way that I don't think I've ever seen before, like a woman breastfeeding a doll that's possessed that I guess bit her nipple, and then her killing it, but it not really dying and coming back. Look, that's crazy. And then also, I gotta give props to not killing Carlos first, because they set it up like he was about to take a L. And, you know, of course, he wasn't black, but he was, you know, the only person of color on the joint. And I figured Carlos was like a done deal, bruh. But you know what? Carlos, he survived. Well, he wasn't killed first. They definitely killed him, but he didn't die first. And I got to say thank you for that. There's so much in these deaths, like drilling through the head, you know, slicing somebody's abdomen open, the glass falling through the neck. There's tons of cool stuff to see in this. And of course, it's all done with the most pitter-pattery of squeakiness of little baby, you know, baby shoes running around and the most wackiest hair we've ever seen on a child doll. It's endearing, it's dumb, it's cheesy. The quality kind of teeters between a sci-fi TV show and like a small budget movie, but it's enjoyable. I think it's perfect where it is. It's on Netflix, and I'd say it's a solid rental. And when I say it's a solid rental, I'd have to give Cult of Chucky 3 stars. That's right, from the crazy doll to the crazy sex with Malcolm to breastfeeding the doll to Chucky being smuggled in with a gun in his abdomen. There's tons of stuff in here that's semi-new, or maybe a twist on something you've seen in the horror genre or the slasher genre, and I liked it. I will say that I'm not mad that I spent my time watching this. Am I gonna say that I'm gonna watch this over and over again? Nah, but could I throw it into my Halloween mix? Maybe. It's not too bad. I think it's definitely worth your time in a rental sense. Say it's a Saturday afternoon, you're hanging out, you wanna laugh at Chucky with some friends. This joint will do it for you, especially when you get all the Chuckies together and how they treat each other and their riffs and jokes between each other. I think it's actually worth your time. So guys, if you've seen Cult of Chucky, please holler at me. I'ma holler at you down in them comments. Let's get it going on with Chucky, with these death scenes, with Nika, what we think is gonna happen in the future with the possession and Jennifer Tilly and all that mess. So guys, before I bounce, of course, I gotta tell you to hit up ThatNERDSoul.com. That's right, check me out right there. All my videos from the oldest, newest, latest, greatest, and all that. Then hit up shop.ThatNERDSoul.com and pick yourself up a t-shirt, player. And don't forget to get one for them playettes. Then come back here, like, comment, subscribe, and share that Nerd Soul. That's right, there is no better way that I can show people that you like what you are watching. So I gotta give a shout out to LA, what up? VA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And please be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And when you hear the pitter patter of little feet, run. Peace.